always the sedulur.
When it's clearly not the sedulur.
Hi, I'm Nabilah.
And I'm Basithah.
Welcome to Therapists React.
Delusional? Of course I'm delusional! Do you know how hard it is to stay positive all the time?
Toxic positivity. Definitely. I can only imagine how exhausting it is to have to stay positive all the time.
Yeah.
She's so intense and trying to be so positive all the time that it can fall apart. One way that I'm thinking about right now is how beautiful it also is if you were to learn how to sit with discomfort. What is the discomfort telling you instead of having to just cover everything up and be happy and positive all the time?
We are suppressed emotions!
I love the visuals. It's a representation of how we are as humans, right? It's never just represented as one emotion.
Yeah.
We can be feeling multiple emotions at the same time.
Sometimes we numb our emotions, and it's usually the primary emotions that we numb. But then the secondary emotions or the behaviors is what people see. But they don't see the numbing, they just see what's the behavior outside of it.
I'm one of Riley's new emotions, and we are just super jazzed to be here. Where can I put my stuff? And my job is to protect her from the scary stuff she can't see.
I love how anxiety is so excited and it's like a ball of energy. What it says is anxiety's function is to protect. And there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of people think anxiety is a bad thing. But anxiety can also be something that can motivate. But of course, a bit too much of any particular emotion can be detrimental. It can lead us to being in a fight mode, flight mode, or freeze mode. And that's what happens to us when we're in such an overwhelming position. It has a lot of anticipatory anxiety. And then you can sort of control certain environment. But of course, we know we can't control everything. And then we end up overthinking and catastrophizing the worst thing that can happen when it hasn't even happened yet.
I was excited looking anxiety, but I have a feeling that this anxiety is going to be formed into something else completely.
You don't get to choose who Riley is. You need to let her go.
Oh, I don't know why that brought tears to my eye. That level of stuckness that anxiety was going through, I could feel anxiety not being able to let go, understanding at the same time that anxiety needs to let go in order for Riley to be Riley.
Imagine if we look at anxiety with compassion. It thinks that it's protecting, which most of the time it does. But when they overdo it, then it becomes something else that sometimes anxiety itself cannot have a control over. So imagine if we look at somebody with anxiety with a lot more compassion. Imagine what that can offer to the person going through the motions of anxiety.
Or even someone having the anxiety, just allowing themselves to have self-compassion and, to just look at it as, oh, this is a state that I'm going through. I am going through a state of anxiety rather than I am anxiety. Anxiety is not my whole identity.
I feel like sometimes we minimize the complexity of our emotions to just label it as one, when we should actually embrace that we can feel multiple emotions at the same time. And I think it would lift up some burden when we are trying to make sense of our situation.
Because they're trying to single and narrow it down to one emotion. I think that's when anxiety pops out and say, hey, hello, it's not just one emotion, it's actually a bunch of emotions at the same time. We are humans, and as humans we have multiple emotions. It's always in relation to the other. So it's always good to pay attention to what's going on with you, noticing what's going on with your body, asking yourself questions like, what's going on with me? How am I feeling? How am I settling?
Emotions can be regulated. When we identify our emotions, we name it, we externalize it, it's easier to tackle it. So we can regulate emotions, we can do deep breathing, grounding techniques. If you need help, there's also this term called co-regulation. That means if I'm feeling stressed and I'm overwhelmed, I can look up to you to help me co-regulate. Call out your spouse, your good friend, your co-worker to help you co-regulate as well.
I just want to add on that anxiety is not a villain. Anxiety exists for a reason. Let's understand what anxiety is for if we are experiencing anxiety. So I don't know what to say. I thought the clip was going to be longer. I'm so sorry, guys.